Hey there, you guys. I experienced some technical difficulty. I didn't catch quick enough. So enjoy this image I drew of a young Shishomaru with his mother in dog form. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so I would like to talk about the Inuyasha sequel as what I'm drawing is in theme of family, which the sequel is kind of but not really about. Ugh. Anyway, so I know one of the biggest issues that's surrounding the whole sequel was who is the mother of Shishomaru's children. Who did he bed? And because they're half demons, a lot of people are going with Rin, which they're strangely happy about, which I don't think they're fully thinking on how gross that is personally, because Rin was a small child, when she came in contact with Shishomaru and followed him. He cared for her as like a parental figure. They had a platonic, affectionate sort of relationship, and for her to end up being his lover when she's older just is ill. It's very illy. Like, I don't mind the ship. I like the Ren and Shishomaru ship in AUs only, when it's where she's older or about the same age as him. When it's canon stuff, I'm not about it. I'm not about that life. The If they go the romantic route of having them be that way with each other in this sequel, the term that comes to mind is grooming. It's not quite um the definition that well, the definition of it is quite close to what comes to mind in defining them being a romantic couple. In canon and grooming is it's when someone builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. And that includes sexual abuse. And the reason why it sticks to me that way is because even though some people will try to excuse it, like, oh, it's the time period. Yeah, well, in the time period of Inuyasha, girls aren't supposed to be taken in at quite that young of age. And then, regardless of which, that's still not a good thing. There are a lot of things from past time periods that are just no bueno to today's standards, because we have supposedly evolved as a civilization. Now, the thing about them trying to compare it to like the old vampire romance stories, where you have this old vampire who's 100 or so to 1,000 years old or whatever taking a lover in a mortal girl, would be the same as Shishomaru taking a lover in Rin. I'd say it's not, because when that vampire decides to take that mortal girl as a lover, that mortal girl is older in age when they meet. She's typically older teenager to young or older adult. Shishomaru and Rin met when she was like 7 or 8 years old, bro. Maybe even younger. And that's ew. But enough about that, though. The other things that I'm personally far more concerned about is just all the implications, not just that concerning factor, but lots of things. Like, I'm worried about the implications that was given in the info, like the character bios and the synopsis and stuff. If you guys haven't read them yet, I suggest you check it out, read it, actually take in the words of what they're describing and read between the lines and stuff. But the implications is that these kids were orphaned either via death of the parents or just straight up abandoned, which is highly concerning for me personally. And then there's the whole dog demon race, the race that Inuyasha and Shishomaru are of. Um, will likely still not be expanded upon or have any explanations of their culture or anything, and that they may, in fact, low key be dying out because apparently none of those girls really know who or what they are, really. I mean, they don't know who their family is. The younger twin might, haven't been raised by a Kohaku, but I kind of doubt it. Um, let's see, and then there's the the whole thing with Shishomaru's mother, Inukimi, as we call her. Like, how could she not be bothered to see to her own grandchildren? And then, who the heck messed with an infant's mind to make them forget their own twin in the third place? And why? Why would they even do that? It doesn't seem like a very good plan. What could you possibly accomplish by doing that? Then there's the fact that Inuyasha's daughter, for whatever reason, knows nothing about her own family and has been alone since very young. Like, where the heck is Sheppo during all of this? Like, he's the surrogate slash adopted big brother, right? Or even uncle figure to Moroku, Sango's children, and also any children Inuyasha and Kagome would have, right? So where's he at? And if Kohaku took in Shishomaru's daughter somehow, some way, why not Inuyasha's too? Like, he had to know she existed since Final Act ended with the implication that he visits. So he's kept up to date on their lives, you know? And Shishomaru's daughters get a caregiver, but Inuyasha's don't. And by that, I mean one twin gets taken care of by Kohaku. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. The other twin somehow uh, gets through a different portal to go to the future and is coincidentally found and taken in by Soda, Kagome's younger brother. Okay, yeah, sure, cool. But Inuyasha's daughter doesn't get a caregiver at all. Nobody wants to look after this child. Why? Like, why does she have to be alone in the world trying to live her best life with nobody to look out for her? What is the point of her having that same sort of upbringing as Inuyasha, except, you know, she's obviously more human and the results for him were kind of questionable. Um, moving on from that, like, along with how, with all those implications, there's also the fact that we likely won't even get to see how Kagome and Inuyasha are as parents, even in flashbacks, because none of the main girls know them. They can't have a flashback to a time that they didn't experience or remember. And then there's nothing really being stated about Moroku and Sango's children either, so we don't even know about their parenting skills and what's going on with those kids, and if the 3 kids that we know they had in the final act are the only kids that they had. They could have had more. Their goal was to have more, but nothing's being said about that. And it's just so many problems that I can see with the series, and nobody's really talking about them as far as I've found. And I don't like it. And it's, the other thing with it though is that all these anime sequels tend to be completely unnecessary, disappointing, or aggravating. And I don't see why I should set myself up with an expectation that this one will be any better despite my love for the series and the characters in particular. Like, I can't be grateful for an anime sequel that I never asked for and never wanted in the first place. Like, if any of the times I imagined a sequel taking place for the Inuyasha series, following only the adventures of their direct children where they're completely uninvolved, never even entered the thought process. Like, it's not something I would have thought of. It's not something that a lot of fellow fans that I used to talk to and friends ever thought of or imagined or wanted. You know, so it's man. And it's messed up because the way that they're going about it, the whole focus in advertisement is that they are the daughters of Inuyasha and Shishomaru, two of the biggest loved characters in the series, and that also indicates that they're focusing on the older fans. The majority of fans are old and older ones, like myself. And they're capitalizing on this stuff in a marketing strategy, which makes me see it as only a cash grab, as a lot of these sequels tend to be. Because they're not really doing anything. Like, the way they've revealed what it's going to be about tells me they want to make it its own thing, but they're gonna be writing on the coattails of the characters we actually know and care about without actually properly including them in a satisfying way. So it's there's not much of a point to it. They keep bringing up the old characters and showcasing them because they know that'll bring over old fans and, the newer fans of the old series. But you're not going to utilize them. Like, why would you do that? Why not have a story where the parents, the characters we grew to love, are a part of the story? Maybe not the focus, but we could see their parenting, we could see them training the kids, we could see them preparing the children for the responsibility of becoming the new fighters and protectors of the land and area. We can learn more about the culture of the demons. There's so many ways that they could have gone about it, but apparently that's not what they want to do. So I decided to go back to my old family ideas I had before the sequel came about that caused me to lose interest. And the first one I opted to do was Izayoi with babyInu just being together. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!